Military analysts are trying to interpret a move by Russia to use an airbase in Iran to launch air attacks against rebel groups in Syria. Russia says it sent fighter planes from the base in western Iran to fight jihadist groups. One analyst says Moscow's alignment with Tehran is hugely embarrassing for the United States, as Anne Barker reports.
For civilians in Aleppo, little has changed on the ground for weeks. Every day brings new airstrikes by Russian-backed Syrian forces and more dead. In this latest bombing, around 20 people were killed. Strategically, though, the war has taken a sudden turn. For the first time yesterday, Russia launched its bombers from an airbase in western Iran. One military analyst, Pavel Felgenhauer, says it gives Russia a clear boost in its firepower.
The Russian backfire bombers, Tupolev-22, M3s, can carry much bigger payloads if they fly short distance, because they are basically carpet bombing right now Syria. And when you carpet bomb, you want to carry as much payload as you can.
But other analysts say the move is more political than tactical and represents a clear escalation in Russia's involvement in the war. Russia and Iran are Syria's strongest allies, and since Moscow entered the war last year, it supplied military and financial support to help prop up President Bashar al-Assad. Vali Nasser, a former US State Department official, believes the Kremlin is sending a strong message to Washington.
Both countries are signaling that if the West and the Arabs continue to support the opposition, that the price would be a closer relationship between Russia and Iran, that Iran and Russia can also escalate in their own ways. And if you're sitting in Washington, actually this is quite surprising. This is not unsurprising. Having the Russians develop a tighter military relationship with Iran.
The US says Russia's use of the Iranian base makes the Syrian crisis even more difficult, though a State Department spokesman, Mark Toner, says it's neither surprising nor unexpected.
It speaks to the continuation of a pattern that we've seen of Russia continuing to carry out airstrikes, and now it appears with Iran's direct assistance, that at least purport to target ISIL and Daesh targets, as well as Nusra targets, but in fact predominantly target moderate Syrian opposition forces.
Russia has so far given little explanation for its move, other than to say the warplanes were sent from Iran to bomb jihadist groups in Syria. But one US analyst, Andrew Tabler, believes there's another significant element in Russia's agenda.
It's just hugely embarrassing for the Obama administration. I mean, it's as if the Russians are forcing President Obama to completely reverse track when the White House insists that they're not reversing track on Syria, that they still support the ouster of Bashar al-Assad. I think this kind of brinksmanship is trying to force the Obama administration into a settlement in Syria before the next president comes to power. And the Russians believe that the next president, particularly if it's Hillary Clinton, would be much more aggressive militarily in places like Syria.
Russia's move has also raised questions about air safety, given it could put Russian planes in proximity of US and coalition aircraft. The US says Moscow did notify it before the Russian planes took off from Iran, and the flights don't affect US coalition air operations.
Anne Barker reporting.